Madison Chock and Bates threw down the performance of a lifetime, yet the judges in Milan had a twisted script in mind. It is February 11th, 2026. The Milano arena is buzzing with the suffocating pressure only a gold medal final can generate. You can smell the sharp bite of the ice mixed with the held breath of thousands. The American duo, reigning three-time world champions, just wrapped their free dance. They are the heavy favourites, the undisputed power couple. They are America's sweethearts on skates. When the music died, the stadium erupted into a roar that felt like a coronation. This was supposed to be the golden finish line of a 15-year marathon. Then the numbers hit the jumbotron. Madison Chock and Bates posted a 224.39. The French victors Laurence Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron sat at 225.82. Gold vanished by a razor-thin margin of 1.43. The rink went dead silent before a wave of whistles and angry jeers rained down from the nosebleeds. This wasn't just close. To the purists, this result felt like a crime against the sport. How does a French pair with less than 15 months of history steal the throne from a couple that spent 15 years perfecting their chemistry? The truth involves a storm of judging politics, a Frankenstein-style partnership, and a shadowy past that makes this the most explosive controversy of the 2026 Games. It is a saga of backroom maneuvering betrayal and the debate over whether flashiness beats true connection. To understand the outrage, you have to witness what Chock and Bates actually did out there. Their routine was a flamenco masterpiece choreographed to a haunting orchestral cut of the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black. Madison was the matador in scarlet, her blade work sharp enough to slice the tension in the air. Evan played the bull, a rhythmic powerhouse anchoring lifts that defied physics. They were not just skating, they were teaching a 15-year seminar in storytelling. They bagged a season-best 134.67 for that segment alone. On the technical side, they were pristine, hitting level 4 on 4 major components. Their twizzles were clockwork spinning in perfect unison as if locked together by invisible gears. But the curve lift was the real showstopper, racking up a massive 15.29. That was their Super Bowl moment. At 33 and 36, this was their 4th Olympic rodeo and their first as husband and wife. They had already snagged team gold, but the individual title was the one trophy missing from the cabinet. They nailed every detail, skating with the fierce urgency of athletes facing their final curtain call. They carried the torch from Merrill Davis and Charlie White to this exact second, only to find that perfection meant something else entirely to the judges in 2026. Now, let's talk about the winners. Laurence Fournier Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron are the disruptors who by all traditions shouldn't even be on the podium. Their union was forged in a nuclear winter of scandal and necessity. Guillaume Cizeron is royalty, having taken gold in 2022 with Gabriela Papadakis. When she retired, he refused to leave the spotlight. In early 2025, he shocked the world by teaming up with Fournier Beaudry. They were not strangers. They were training partners at the Ice Academy of Montreal. Cizeron called it friendship, but the public saw a calculated merger of two elite free agents. Laurence was available because her longtime partner and ex-Nikolai Sorensen was hit with a 6-year ban after an investigation into sexual maltreatment. She ditched the Canadian flag, fast-tracked French citizenship, and hitched her wagon to Cizeron. They are two veteran leftovers who glued a partnership together just 15 months ago. They skated to music from The Whale, an avant-garde piece mimicking the flow of water and heavy emotion. Was it elegant? Absolutely. Was it smooth? Sure. Cizeron is a virtuoso individually, but Ice Dance is about the unit. Fans are asking, can you build Olympic chemistry in a year? The judges nodded yes. The crowd screamed no. Adding fuel to the fire is the ghost of Cizeron's former partner. Weeks before the Games, Gabriela Papadakis dropped a bombshell memoir titled Pour ne pas disparaître, meaning so as not to disappear. It wasn't just a memoir, it was a demolition job. The book incinerated the facade of the flawless French dynasty, painting Cizeron as a controlling tyrant, demanding and relentlessly critical. She revealed that his icy demeanor left her paralyzed with fear, dreading every moment alone with him in the locker room as their career wound down. Papadakis described a profoundly toxic dynamic where her identity was crushed under the weight of his obsessive perfectionism. Cizeron fired back with absolute fury. branding the allegations a calculated hit job designed to torpedo his Olympic comeback. He unleashed his legal team to issue formal warnings, but the stain on his reputation was indelible. The controversy hit such a fever pitch that networks pulled Papadakis from their broadcast lineups for the 2026 Games to avoid a conflict of interest. That dark cloud of villainy trailed Cizeron right onto the Milanese ice. Even as he and Fournier Beaudry delivered a stunning avant-garde performance, the audience viewed every move through the prism of those explosive accusations. Was that seamless unity a product of genuine chemistry? Or was it merely the byproduct of the suffocating technical tyranny Papadakis had exposed? By handing them the gold, the judges sent a stark message: the backstage chaos was irrelevant. Only the numbers on the board counted. Then there is the matter of his new partner, Laurence Fournier Beaudry, whose road to the French flag was paved over a scandal that rocked Canadian skating. Her previous partner, Nikolai Sorensen, was sidelined following disturbing allegations of sexual misconduct dating back to 2012. The explosive report detailing accusations of violent assault finally broke into the public consciousness in early 2024. Although the suspension saw a temporary reversal on technicalities in mid-2025, his legacy remains permanently tarnished. When the hammer first dropped, it looked like the end of the line for Fournier Beaudry, yet she refused to bow out. Instead, she crossed the ocean and swapped flags, a career-saving pivot made possible only by teaming up with Cizeron. Detractors argue this alliance was nothing more than a golden parachute, allowing her to sidestep the fallout of the controversy. While Sorensen was exiled, she found herself paired with an icon fast-tracked straight to the top of the Olympic podium. A significant portion of the fan base views their victory as a betrayal of the ethical standards the sport claims to honor. At a time when the Olympic movement is desperate to scrub away the stains of the 2022 Beijing Games, crowning a duo linked to abuse scandals and emotional manipulation creates a PR disaster for the ISU. Yet out on the rink, the panel turned a blind eye to the context, gifting the pair a season-best score of 135.64. A deep dive into the scorecards makes the narrative of a heist undeniable. This gold was not secured in the free dance. The fix was engineered during Monday's rhythm dance, where the French routine to Madonna's Vogue took center stage. While clinically precise, it completely lacked the visceral soul and velocity of the Americans' Lenny Kravitz tribute. Still, the panel awarded the French a lead of 0.46, a razor-thin margin that means everything in ice dance. It dictates the momentum for the finale, where the judging bias became impossible to ignore. 5 out of 9 officials actually ranked Chock and Bates higher. Had the outcome relied on a simple majority rule, the Americans would be the ones wearing the gold medals. The bulk of the panel viewed them as the rightful champions of the evening. To make matters worse, Cizeron visibly faltered on a twizzle sequence, a blunder that typically demands a heavy penalty, yet the judges glossed over it. How did the French snatch victory? Because the judges loyal to them inflated their scores by massive, baffling margins in the program components, the subjective marks for artistic impression. One judge in particular reportedly padded the French team's total by nearly 8 points over the competition. In a game decided by a mere 1.43, an 8-point swing from a single official is effectively a nuclear strike on fairness. It reeked of European home ice favoritism, rewarding the French abstraction while ignoring the raw intensity of the Americans. They prioritized polish over passion, sparking a worldwide fan revolt that has completely eclipsed the athletic achievements. Even Italian veteran Marco Fabbri, who placed 4th, admitted to the press that while he typically favors Laurence and Guillaume, Chock and Bates were the clear winners that night. But triumph in 2026 isn't always weighed in gold. For Madison Chock and Bates, silver in Milan cements a legendary legacy. They stand alone as the only American duo to capture 3 consecutive world titles. Fresh off anchoring Team USA to a dominant gold medal finish in the team competition just days ago. They exit the ice as icons regardless of the verdict delivered by a panel in Italy on a Wednesday evening. Yet the French triumph casts a long, ominous shadow over the Milan Games. It ignites a firestorm regarding the stranglehold of coaching dynasties and the questionable ethics of forging alliances amidst scandal, alongside figure skating's ancient vice-nationalistic scoring. Guillaume Cizeron secures his 2nd gold. Laurence Fournier Beaudry earns her redemption. But Madison Chock and Evan Bates possess a treasure far greater the universal acclaim of the witnessing world. As the venue shook with deafening jeers upon the score, reveal the people's champions were instantly anointed. They chased gold but took silver, yet for the fans in Milan, only one team reigned supreme. The Chock and Bates era might be drawing to a close, but the outcry over this heist is just igniting. Because in 2026, the finest skate isn't always the statistical winner. It is the performance that brings the globe to a standstill, demanding an emotional response. And for 4 minutes in Milan, Madison and Evan made the world believe in 15 years of pure magic.